Greetings, Keichlings. Keichlin Prime here with another My Hero Academia Power-Up video. Today we're tackling part 2 of the Izuku Midoriya aka Deku Power-Up video. This is revolving around quirk evolution that I mentioned. It's usually how I end off basically all the My Hero videos once I started incorporating that concept. And let's just say, because of what we know about One for All, yes, my mind has gone to such OP levels of what he could accomplish, and we're probably just going to scratch the surface of it, but this is kind of also a theory video. A lot of this is going to be based around the simple concepts, or at least two basic concepts that we don't really know about, but most likely will work the way that I kind of describe them. The first is, can a previous user of One for All reacquire the power? Say you pass it on to someone and then they give it back to you. Would you be able to do that? We don't know that. Also, does say, using an example, Bakugo, for instance, if Izuku gave him, a bit of his hair, he ate it, and it's like, oh god, now I'm All Might, basically, except with explosions. It's like, could he then pass that power back to Izuku, and then, Izuku gains explosion, but Bakugo would he keep his original innate quirk? We don't know this, because the only examples we have are All Might and Izuku. Izuku not, having a quirk to begin with, and he hasn't passed it on to anybody, and All Might also no quirk, and when he passed it on, he lost One for All, which presumably would make sense, but that's not his innate quirk. So that's kind of the thing I'm toying with in this theory. Now, I'm limiting the number of quirks to just the students of Yue, Shiketsu, and Ketsubusu, because I figured, keep it within, Deku's generation. It makes a little more sense. Plus, if we included the faculty, yeah, like, Aizawa's quirk, that would just be kind of too OP, considering, it would just get multiplied in this general idea. But basically, we're going to daisy chain all of the powers together in a, good lord, it's crazy idea, I know. But possibly they all get to keep their original powers, as I stated before. We don't know if that's a thing. But, okay, and like I said, I'm going to limit this to the students, but also I'm limiting it to emitter and transformation type quirks, because Izuku might eventually become too bogged down by all the various mutations, and good lord, you try to create a costume for someone that's got the calves of Ida and the arms of Shoji, plus all the other, mutant type quirk users out there. It just would be too much. Plus that kind of lends itself to maybe they're not passable either, because we've not seen any users of One for All to have a mutant type quirk either. And presumably, if that was the case, both Izuku, All Might, and I always forget her name. It's Nana. It was the seventh user. We haven't seen mutant traits on any of them, so that's why I'm excluding the mutant type class. But in all, if you also include the two students that we've kind of gotten to know, Shinzo and Mei from the sports festival, and Shinzo. Too many names, people. Shinzo, with him possibly being inducted into one of the two hero courses. Yeah, there's going to be 37 of these things. So yeah. But anyway, essentially gonna just daisy chain them all together. Like, say he starts with Araka, for instance, is like, okay, eat my hair. And then she eats it after a little, like, questioning his sanity, which then leads to, she gains all the powers, and then it's like, okay, now feed it to Bakugo, and then he feeds it to Todoroki, and so forth and so on. And then finally it's like, okay, everyone's eaten hair today, right? And everyone's like, yeah, this was a weird day. Come on, Deku, what's wrong with you? It's like, I have a reason for it. Now, give me your hair, final user, and whoever it was. And then it's like, okay. And, well, yeah, he now has all of their powers. Which, presumably they would all still have theirs, so they're not, devoid of abilities. And they would have one for all, technically, and all of the abilities, maybe for a little while. And, until it's completely out of their system. Just like All Might did. But he might be a special case. We don't really know. Maybe that was his quirk all along. I don't know. But anyway, now that we have, like, that general, like, theory thing, and plus this would help because presumably, like, the big bad of the series, we thought it was going to be, All for One, but, his protege, Tomura, probably going to be the big bad of the final arc of the series. And it wouldn't surprise me if he passes on all of his abilities over to Tomura, so then he is overpowered quirk central. Izuku already has 5 quirks that he doesn't know anything about, plus the 2 that he's aware of. So, while that would kind of help even the odds, I thought this would be even better. Plus, it goes with the whole, like, supreme hero idea that I was kind of going for his naming scheme, because he's going to be the ultimate of the most ultimate OP rank 1 heroes, in my opinion, and probably the opinions of everybody that reads this series. He just has to learn how to utilize 100% and all the other stuff. But yeah, to kind of give an idea of what he could be capable of with just some of these, because, you can only come up with so many ideas for these things. I have quirk combinations. Now, be it these could be, say, once they've obtained such a mass of power, maybe they start fusing with each other, or, if they're of similar enough quality, because, typically that's how reproduction would work, but not, with the passing of quirks. So that's why I was like, some of them kind of skirt the line, others are more defined as just using quick succession of quirks. And to start them off is a super move mixed with a quirk combination. This is from part 1, the Nashville Smash, which is a supersonic sound attack from his throat. He channels One for All into it, and then he can scream, and that would be an attack in its own. Mixed with Voice, which is Koda's ability, and he can then talk to animals. Well, a thing with him is that he is only far as his voice carries. Well, with a supersonic scream, it's going to carry quite a bit. He'll have the whole hello truck. It's leaving. It would carry probably to the whole city, given the multipliers that are being applied here. Next is Zero Gravity plus Whirlwind. Araka's quirk mixed with Inasa's quirk. He was the guy from Shiketsu. He had Whirlwind. He could basically fly. Well, Izuku in this state would, make himself weightless, and then use Whirlwind to effortlessly fly, with weightless flight and whatnot. He'd be like a speeding bullet at that point, because, little to no resistance. Next would be Dark Shadow and Black. Tokoyami and I always forget this guy's name. Some of their names I'm not as familiar with, people. Crap, where is it? I have it on the list. Where is he? Yeah, Kurohiro. He could blend in with, you know, the shadows and dark spots and anything that's black in color. So he could either just, you know, Izuku in this form would fuse with Dark Shadow, or he could blend in a dark environment and then have Dark Shadow attack from any given spot as he's moving around. So it's like Shadow Sneak from Pokemon, but cooler. Next is Dark Shadow plus Explosion, or half cold, half hot. You know, again, Tokigami or Bakugo or Todoroki's quirks. This one is basically what happened during the training camp arc, where Tokigami had become like overpowered at night because Dark Shadow gets stronger at night, and like with how he was feeling about the attack by the villains and everything, and it was like his hatred and anger towards them was building, and Dark Shadow got out of control. And then in comes Bakugo and Todoroki to use their light emission from their quirks to calm him down. I thought this would make a perfect use of that trait to then allow Izuku to be able to do this by himself. You know, it's like, okay, we're fighting at night, or Dark Shadow. I keep wanting to say Black Shadow for some reason. Dark Shadow, and, you know, it's like it's super powered and everything, and it's like it's starting to get unruly and more of a threat, maybe, and then he just starts emitting light via explosions or flames. There you go. Next up is Creation plus Sugar Rush. This is basically limitless sugar supply. You know, once you know the composition of sugar, which is part of the whole creation weakness, you have to know what you're making pretty detailed. You know, you need like the full composition of it to be able to accomplish the task. So that's essentially that. So with Sugar Rush being active, you know, it's like he doesn't have to carry around sugar, he would just make it. Hello, truck. Again. They're doing subdivision construction right beside my house. It's annoying. Next is Creation plus Weld. Obviously, Creation and Sugar Rush were Yaoyorozu and Sato's powers. I forgot to mention that, but most of you should already know that. Creation and Weld, obviously, again, we got Momo, and Weld was Awasi's. Awasi's? Yeah. It allows, you know, with the creation of any object that you know the composition of, mixed with welding objects together, be organic or inorganic. So I thought this would allow for massive reinforced structures. You know, like say you make some like pylons or like small walls, and then you just keep piling them onto each other or something, and then you just start welding them together until they're, you know, with the multipliers, these structures are going to be so strong potentially that there may not be anything that can break them even afterwards once you're done with the fight. So obviously you have to keep that in mind potentially. But then again, there would be the potential of acid breaking it down because it would also be multiplied. So there's your cleanup idea. Next is the combination of Explosion and half cold, half hot. It's greater fiery explosions or ice shrapnel attacks, because, you know, you create ice and then you blow it up. Or you just blow up things with flames thrown into the mix. That's one of them that, you know, could possibly be a fusion of the two quirks and not just a combo attack of quick succession, as I mentioned prior. Next is half cold, half hot plus mushroom. Okay, Todoroki again mixed with, what is her name? It begins with an M. I will find it. and I have not found it yet. Weird. Oh, it began with a K. My bad. Komori. We obviously know what Todoroki can do. He can create ice and fire, while Mamori, she created mushrooms. She put out the spores, and then she would water them with little water gun pistols, and it would allow them to stay hydrated and moist because they need a dank environment to thrive. Well, we saw one of her fellow students that could create effects. It's what was his name? Manga. His quirk allowed him to kind of make humidity by just saying the words, because he creates onomatopoeias in real life. Well, this would kind of take the middleman out of it without needing an extra person, because when you combine fire and heat, the heat from the fire and the ice while it's melting, and it all becomes super steamy, that would create humidity generation that would then increase the mushroom growth, similar to what we saw in the joint training arc. And then, good lord, it's crazy generation all on your own. And finally, we have Boomerang plus Acid. Boomerang was from a Ketsubusu student by the name of Totiki, and his boomerang ability, basically anything that he threw, it would kind of make it into a homing missile. And then Acid is obviously Ashido's ability, where she could create acid from her hands, or anywhere on her body really, but hands were obviously more available and useful. But yeah, with the multipliers going on, the acid would be way stronger, and the boomerang ability, which allows you to just home in on stuff, which presumably Deku would gain the hello truck again. I swear trucks. He would gain the resistance against the acid like Mina does, so just pick up some of that really acidic goo and just lob it, and then it just becomes a homing acid projectile. And that is the end of those ideas. This might have been a little rambly or whatever, but obviously there's more ideas I could have gone with potentially, but let me know some of your ideas. Any of this that sounded interesting. Also, link to part 1 in the description. Obviously, I referenced it a couple times, so yeah. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this and all that it implies, and yeah. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I stream on Twitch 3 days a week. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Upload those to my YouTube channel the next day in that cycle. And yeah, here's where you can find me. Links down below and all that good stuff. And until next time, Keishlings, roll out!